I busted 30 different fat loss myths so that you don't have to. Number 1.
Hey yo bro, chill, what the hell are you doing,
Chill bro, I'm just
bone smashing.
Oh hell no, what the hell are you doing now bro? You need to stop this. I'm trying to fix my metabolism. My metabolism's broken, okay? Eating my meat. Look fellas, at the end of the day, your metabolism is not broken. There's nothing really to fix. If really truly nothing is working for you, try tracking your calories. If you track your calories and you eat like 2,000 calories every single day for a week straight, 2 weeks, and you're still not losing weight, and you genuinely tracked everything, even the snacks at nighttime, then yeah, maybe go see a doctor. But for literally 99.99% of you guys, your metabolism is not broken. No one's metabolism is broken. No, you really don't get it. I have a
very slow metabolism.
It's like I just look at a cookie and I don't understand why I could be gaining weight. Let's be honest, these type of people are absolutely the worst. Let me give you a big news flash. If you are overweight, you have a faster metabolism than the person who's smaller. This is something that I always said when I was fat. It's like, oh, I just have a slow metabolism. No, I was just eating too much goddamn food. If you have a higher body fat, if you are a bigger person, if you weigh 300 pounds, you burn more calories doing nothing than a person who's 200 pounds or a person who's 150 pounds. So by that definition, your metabolism is actually faster. So I just had a big meal, but you know, since starving myself is gonna put me in a fat storage mode, I'm gonna have this because I can't go into starvation mode and I actually have to eat more calories to lose more weight.
Which is not how it works.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, maybe it's better to bring your calories up a little bit. In certain cases, that does work. But if you're overweight, you're not in starvation mode. You're in starvation mode when your body's not producing hormones and you're sub 10% body fat. Unless you have visible abs and veins in your abs, you're not in starvation mode. So am I gonna eat this? Hell no. Get that shit out of here. Okay, so next we have weight trainers. Do weight trainers really burn belly fat? This is prime time right now, right? After finishing up my bulk, we are trying to cut down. So let's turn this thing on. Okay, so I'm getting this thing to work and doesn't feel that good. It feels like my gut is like bubbling or something. I don't understand how people do this. Oh, it just feels so weird. This definitely doesn't help you lose fat, but may help you something else. I don't know, man. This just feels really weird. Such a weird. This is not good for fat loss. Oh, my tampon fell out. Spot reduction. Does spot reduction work to help you lose weight? If I do a bunch of ab exercises, is it gonna help me lose weight? I don't know. I should keep on doing this though. You know, this brings me back
To when I was like 13 years old.
trying to get abs, doing a bunch of ab exercises. The only thing that ab exercises are gonna do is poorly build your abs. This is the same thing as if I just like wove my hands up and down trying to build my biceps. Yeah, does calisthenics work? Yeah, it works to build muscle, but not to lose fat. So this is useless and I look a little bit zesty. So I'm gonna stop this right now. Okay, so spot reduction doesn't really work, but what if I wanna lose fat faster? Will doing more workouts make me lose weight faster? And the surprising answer is yeah. If you work out 6 times a week, you're gonna lose fat faster than if you work out once or twice per week. When I was losing weight, I was already in the habit of doing some type of weight training for 6 days a week. And then I added in cardio 6 days a week, and man was the fat loss rapid. So if you can find a way to do cardio 6 times a week and then like weight train 6 times a week, yeah, your fat loss and like your muscle growth is gonna exponentially show results. So I definitely recommend that you work out more if you can to get better results. Okay, so do detox teas actually melt your fat away? Well, let's try this. Best case scenario, it's a laxative. Worst case scenario,
It's from India.
so let's give this a taste. Oh, make me cry, bro. This is the worst.
This is from India.
Tastes like garlic and chicken broth. I think we can bust this one. Okay, but what about apple cider vinegar? That surely helps weight loss, right? Well, it can help reduce the glucose spike, but does it really help with weight loss? Maybe by 0.1%. So you could use it if you're diabetic or something, but personally, even in my hardest deficits, in my biggest weight loss journeys, I've never been desperate enough to utilize something like this. Okay, but what about drinking more water? Does drinking more water help with fat loss? You know what? It actually does. In what way? This is one thing I utilized all the time when I was losing weight, and that I'm definitely gonna use in my next cut. Drinking sparkling water or just like a bunch of water before a meal really fills up your stomach, so you don't want to eat as much. Try this out in your next meal. Carbs. They make you fat. You should not be eating carbs. But what carbs are we talking about specifically? I mean, we have apples, these are carbs, and we also have a whole bag of chips. So if it makes it easier for you to just avoid all the carbs to make it so that you don't eat the chips, then sure, avoiding all carbs is fantastic. Personally, for me though, when I'm dieting, I love to have fruits, I love to have vegetables, I like things like rice, and do I overeat on them? Not at all. So if you can keep healthy carbs in your diet without overeating, then you don't need to remove carbs. But if not eating any carbs at all lets you stay away from the processed junk food, then just remove all carbs. Eating late at night, does it make you fat low-key? It probably does. Now it's hard to speak in absolutes, but our willpower tends to be the lowest at nighttime. So if you can avoid eating just like whatsoever once it goes like past 6 p.m. For me, it's like after around 2 p.m. because I sleep pretty early. But the less you could eat at nighttime, the better it is for you, honestly, because we just tend to overeat at night. Is there any biological processes that make it so you store more fat if you eat closer to the nighttime? Yeah, but by a small margin. It's not really that big of a deal. But the biggest deal is that if you eat at night, you're just gonna eat more because you have low willpower at nighttime. Now, so does fruit make you fat? If I was to eat this pear, would I become fat as hell? I probably would not. And I would honestly hope for people to eat more fruits. Because look, are they high in fructose? Are they high in sugar? Yeah. But are they super freaking low calorie? Yeah. So chances are you're never gonna overeat on fruit. It's always going to be candy. It's always going to be the high calorie, low volume foods that you're going to overeat on. Is it going to be fruit? Hell no, it's not going to be fruit. I would probably bet that if you added more fruit into your diet, you would become less hungry for the junk food and actually end up losing more weight overall. Okay, nutrition man, whatever you say about fruit. But what about fat? This is like a very high fat cut of beef. Does fat make you fat? Well, that's also interesting. And I'm gonna probably say yeah. I'm a big proponent of fat, being natural. You need fat for hormone production. So high quality red meat is very good for you. Eating eggs is very good for you. Having butter is good for you. You can have fats in your diet and they're very healthy from you as long as they come from good sources. But am I gonna say that cutting out fat isn't like the easiest way to lose weight? Of course it is. When I'm probably gonna get lower body fat, I'm probably gonna stop eating as much red meat as I am right now. Now, is that probably gonna tank my test levels? Yeah, maybe by a little bit, but just cutting out fat is so much easier. And especially if you can cut out fat from unnecessary sources like junk food, oh my goodness, your diet is going to change forever. Okay, sugar. What about sugar? Do you have to cut sugar? Do you have to cut sugar out completely? Look, I'm not gonna lie, you probably do. How did I start dieting personally? I just started taking away sugar from my coffee and then I put myself in a 500 calorie deficit. Sugar is one of those things like fat, but I would do it before fat. If you can cut out unnecessary sugars in your diet, that is like the number one thing that you should be doing. And trust me, it doesn't make that much of a difference in your diet. Look, if you drink sweet coffee, just replace the sugar with like erythritol or something. Are you gonna shit your pants?
Maybe.
But at the end of the day, you're gonna get skinnier, so that's cool too. Okay. Now, real talk. Cheat meals. Are cheat meals good for you? Are they good for weight loss?
No, the hell they're not!
If you want to ruin your diet, start having cheat meals. Start telling yourself that cheat meals are okay.
Oh, but it's just a little bit of cheating. It's gonna boost my metabolism.
No, it's not! It's not gonna boost your metabolism.
This is one of the worst things that I did, and I feel like everybody copes when they're trying to lose weight. It's like, well, I could have a cheat meal here or there. Look, bro, it's 8 weeks of just dieting before you can go back to your maintenance phase and then eat whatever the hell you want with higher calories. Take the L for the 8 weeks and just keep a clean diet. Because trust me, if you're anything like me, you can't have just one piece of food. You can't just have one cheat meal. It's never a cheat meal. For me, it's always a cheat day. So just stay away from that. And then the cheat day turns to a cheat week. And then you know what? F the diet. I might as well start bulking, right? Okay, now what about healthy food? If I eat healthy food all the time, can I eat unlimited calories? No, you're gonna get fat. Now there is a caveat to this. If most people ate this stuff, they would probably lose weight because most people are already fat as hell. But if I ate this stuff all day, every day, I would probably get fat as hell. Because sure, these are healthy, but they're also high in calories. So maybe instead of having red meat, you could replace that with chicken breast if you're trying to lose weight. Now, is that nutritionally as good? Of course it's not. Red meat is very nutritionally dense. Instead of having bananas, you could have like blueberries. Instead of having peanut butter, don't have peanut butter. If you want avocados, I don't know, go eat celery or something. Okay, now what about on the opposite side of the spectrum? Can I have junk food and still lose weight? Because look, at the end of the day, everything is just calories in, calories out, right? Kind of. I mean, probably take care of macro and micronutrients, but that's besides the point. Can you eat junk food and still lose weight? Well, when I was first dieting, hell yeah, I was eating Snickers bars, but it would only be like one per day. So if you can do it in moderation, then go right ahead. For some people, moderation works, but if you catch yourself eating more junk food than you initially thought, then don't do it. Personally, I can't do it. I'm gonna have like 20 more of these right now. Okay, so what about intermittent fasting? And a lot of people are against this for some reason, but I don't know why. Personally, I think intermittent fasting is fantastic. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I fasted from 2 a.m. to roughly about 10 o'clock, which is an 8-hour fast. Plus, I fast all night, so it ends up being, I guess, like a 16-8 fast that I do. And all that means is that my time window to eat is very short. So if you're someone who struggles to lose weight, putting a time window on when you can eat usually does wonders. I'm not really that hungry in the morning. I can go the whole morning up until the afternoon and not eat a single bite of food. And if you find that you can do that, then why not save up the calories until later in the afternoon when you actually get hungry and when you actually usually mess up on your diet? If you could save up more calories for later in the day for when you're actually hungry, it's literally a win-win. And this was a huge game changer when I started losing weight, because it's like,
Oh my god, really?
I don't have to eat breakfast if I don't want to.
Whoa.
just don't get it, bro. Eating small meals throughout the day boost your metabolism. Should we really be focusing on boosting our metabolism? What boosts your metabolism more is literally just like going out for a run, doing other things. The amount of change that's gonna happen from you eating one big meal or two big meals versus having 4 or 5 small meals is not that much. Now, is having smaller meals throughout the day roughly even in distribution with protein and other macronutrients better? It probably is, yeah, for muscle growth, for muscle retention. But then also you have to take into consideration your intermittent fasting window. So I would rather have 2 big meals throughout the day, but like keep a fasting window going versus having small meals evenly throughout the day. Because I've tried this before and all it does for me is it just causes me to eat more food than I initially anticipated. Okay, what about fasted cardio? Does fasted cardio burn more calories than regular cardio? In the short term, yeah. In the long term, no. So it doesn't really matter whether you do your cardio fasted or with food, whatever makes you feel better. That is, unless you are using special supplements, whether that's, you know, the crazy multivitamins that you're injecting or even natural supplements like yohimbine and raoulsine. These basically make your adrenaline system go crazy. And if you take these fasted on an empty stomach and also do cardio, it's been shown that you actually burn more fat. So you can look into this if you're trying to go for it, but this is a stimulant and it's a very dirty stimulant. It makes you feel kind of off. It makes you very racy and jittery, but it does burn more fat. Now, you know what? What about cardio in general? Is it required for fat loss? Would I recommend that you do cardio for fat loss? Hell yeah. Is that will work wonders for me? Yeah. Is it a pain in the ass to find a cardio method that you enjoy? Yeah, but once you find it, it's ridiculously fun. I'd go for things like cycling, the elliptical, swimming if you like it, and like incline treadmill walks. I would avoid things like running and other like intense forms of cardio for weight loss, because unless you're an athlete, it's like hard to get into those types of things. And personally, when I was fat, the last thing I wanted to do was run. So yeah, do you need cardio though? No, you don't. If you're getting enough steps and if you're just like in a calorie deficit from your diet, if you have a physical job, if you're like a construction worker, then I guess you don't need to do cardio. But personally, I would do cardio. 30 minutes every single day just for your heart health, and also you burn some extra calories, and worst case scenario, bro, you could just eat more. So sounds nice to me. Okay. Lifting weights. You guys have to try this stuff. It's like a mint for your nose. Does lifting weights make you bulky? If you're losing weight, I hope the hell you are lifting weights. Because if you're not lifting weights, you're gonna lose a bunch of fat, you're gonna have no muscle, you're gonna end up looking what? You're gonna end up looking skinny fat. So when you're losing weight, build muscle. No, this is a huge myth. You will look better if you hit the gym. You will look better if you're losing weight and also building muscle. Especially if you're a beginner, you can do that wonderfully well and you're going to look fantastic. Not only are are you gonna look skinnier because you lost weight, but you're gonna look more defined and more skinny because you have muscles under the actual fat. Now, does putting lime or lemon in your morning water, does it make you actually lose weight, or is this just like 40-year-old white woman bullshit? I'll tell you the real deal. It's more or less
40-year-old white woman bullshit.
I would even argue that this causes less fat loss because you're adding calories into your water. Now, am I being pedantic? Yeah, but are the 40-year-old white women also being pedantic with their 0.01% calories lost freaking weight drink or whatever this is? Yeah, so it goes both ways. If you're not sore,
If you're not sweating, buddy,
then you're not working out. Lateral or is this? Do you need to be sore? Does soreness necessarily indicate that you're growing muscle or that you're losing fat? No, not really. Now, if you've never been sore in your life, then maybe you're not pushing that hard in the gym. But soreness is just an indicator that your muscle is still recovering. So if you're sore, all that means is your muscle's damaged. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to always be sore. If you're never sore though, then maybe try training harder. Glucose spikes. Is it causing weight gain? Not really. When your glucose is spiking, yeah, I mean, insulin is coming up and that's promoting anabolism. It's promoting new muscle growth. It's promoting new fat growth. But does spiking your glucose like a tiny little bit from eating an apple mean the end of the world for your fat loss? No, because what you have to realize is that there's glucose spikes in the x-axis, how many glucose spikes you have, and there's glucose spikes in the y-axis, how high those glucose spikes are. So in the worst case scenario, you're spiking your glucose all the freaking time and also with very high spikes. What would that look like? That would be like you eating a bunch of junk food, a bunch of sugar all the time in very large quantities, right? But that's not how we eat day to day. We usually have, 1 to 4 big meals and then that's it. Or a bunch of little snacks in between and that's it. So having a bunch of glucose spikes isn't the end of the world because in between all those glucose spikes, your glucose isn't spiking. Your metabolism gets permanently damaged from dieting. Or does it? Because there is some truth to this, but it's never really permanent. So when I lost a bunch of weight, there was a point where I was getting extreme cravings and it almost felt like everything that I would be eating would just go straight to fat and I couldn't lose any more fat. It felt like I had to be in an extreme deficit to get any fat loss going. And what happened? Yeah, I kind of broke my metabolism and set my metabolic rate much lower because I lost a bunch of weight and I became a much smaller person. So my maintenance calories went down and no wonder I wasn't able to eat as much as I was before because I was a much smaller human. But when this happens to people, they absolutely flip and think that, oh my goodness, I broke my metabolism. No, all you have to do is just eat more calories, a little bit more, get your hormones back in check, get everything back in order, and then your metabolism is going to be better than before. So you never really permanently break your metabolism. It's typically just a transient hormonal issue or just like a transient, calorie depletion and your body's trying to run itself back to maintenance. Now, supplements are absolutely not necessary for weight loss, but what I use is like a little bit of creatine, but that's more for muscle growth than it is for weight loss. Have some caffeine. It's a stimulant. It destroys your appetite. And besides that, there's no really other supplements that you would need. You can have protein powder if you're having trouble hitting your protein. As previously mentioned in the video, if you want to try the fasted cardio methods, you could try Raoul Sign with Yohimbine. You can try supplements. They do help. You can, take GLP-1 agonists, the new weight loss drugs, right? You can take all the supplements that you want, but at the end of the day, whatever gets you to a calorie deficit is going to get you to a calorie deficit. So you can take certain things that reduce your appetite, and if that works for you, that works for you. Personally, I don't use anything. Okay, what about diet soda and artificial sweeteners? Currently, I don't have any in my house, but when I am dieting, they are fantastic. Do they spike your insulin and cause you to gain weight? Let me think. Something spikes your insulin, but has 0 calories. So your insulin gets spiked, but then it has
nothing to bring?
So then you don't gain the weight. Look, I know that artificially sweetened drinks like, Coke Zero, Pepsi Max, all these diet versions of the soft drinks, they get a lot of hate online. But at the end of the day, if they can keep you away from sweet snacks that like genuinely have a bunch of calories and sugar in them, then drink them. I drink them every single time when I'm dieting, but ideally, should you stay away from them? Yeah, best case scenario, we all just drink water, we never eat any junk food, and we're always in the gym 24/7 and nobody misses a day of the gym. In an ideal world, yeah. Should you be drinking them? Probably not. Are they maybe cancerous and increase your chance by like 0.01%? Yeah, but am I willing to take the risk for for everything that they give you, all the positives and all the hunger reduction, yeah, I'm willing to take the risk. Now, in the same breath, people tend to mention things like, oh, but your gut health. So how much does your gut health really matter for weight loss? I'm no expert, but from all the research that I've done, your gut is extremely resilient. And if you're losing weight, I promise you it's not because of your gut, because you can nuke your gut with certain things and you're still gonna lose weight. If I'm taking an antibiotic and I nuke my gut microbiome, but I'm sick with the flu and I'm not eating enough food, can I still lose weight? Yeah, I still can. So is it really your gut bacteria that has everything to do with weight loss? Probably not. Now, am I saying that your gut is not important at all and you should never worry about gut health? That's not what I'm saying. But is it a huge factor as to why you're not losing weight? No, it's not. Don't trust the scale this. Don't trust the scale that. How much do we weigh? 83.8. Look. The scale you need to trust. Now, should you get emotional over the daily fluctuations? Like in the morning, I weighed 81 kilograms, but now I weigh 83 kilograms. That's like a 4 or 5 pound difference from morning to now, right? After I had a big meal. Should I be crying about this? No. But should you be looking at the scale and, take the numbers as something that matters? Yeah, don't be one of those people that are like, oh, I'm never gonna check the scale. It makes me feel bad. Never wanna check the scale. You should be checking the scale. And if your weight's not going down week by week, or at least every single 2 weeks, if you don't see that the scale is going down, you're doing something wrong. Anyways though, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel
so that I can get out of crippling debt.